5.3 liter with an 8L90E and our transfer case that will be going into our C10 4x4 conversion. All right, so I got my L83 engine with an 8-speed transmission and a transfer case out of Texas. It's a great supplier. I will let you know in the links where to find him. Anyway, great engine. Overall came out really well because they didn't go hacking on it or snipping on it or anything too much. It's got all the main components there and the harness is in great shape. But I'm gonna show you a little bit about how this harness goes together. I have no idea what I'm doing, disclaimer, but it's really interesting to see how it all routes and things. Pretty easy to take apart, except for when the engine is tilted like this, I'm gonna have to tilt it back to get to a few of the components. So when you get a swap, you need to make sure that you get all of these components with it, especially the ECU, and then all of the other cables that go along with it. You need to make sure this is attached as well. This is your transmission, I believe, could be wrong, your TCU there. Everything routes pretty easily right on top of the engine overall. You got all of your sensors, your power, your fuel rail. It gets really crazy when you have a transfer case too, because you got the routing that goes all the way down to the transfer case, and you got to figure out how to get all of these off as well. So it's kind of a puzzle, but it's a fun puzzle, right? And that's why we do it. All right, so we are back at it trying to get this harness off here. The problem that we ran into is the fact that this one right here was pretty seized up. And the reason why is because it's under here, it gets a lot of crud in it. But I got a little trick from SwapTime. They said use WD-40, stick it in there, and guess what? It slid out with no problem. So, little tip, word to the wise, WD-40 is your friend on that one. Now, as we come over here, the harness goes under and around to this side. There's only a couple more connections we got to get off of here. We got to get this one off right here, which goes to your starter solenoid, and then it goes up and around to this side right here, and you'll notice that connection inside. We got to get that out of there. It's not focusing, but we're gonna take off that bolt right there, that bolt right there, and we should be able to slide out that plate and get that out of there. It's been raining a ton here, and unfortunately, this has got a little bit of water on it. I tried to cover up all of the ports with some tape. Should have kept it pretty dry and pretty clean. All right, so after you get this connection off of here, which takes some finagling, you gotta make sure this actually comes on this side of the solenoid, the front side, so you can slide this little collar down, the heat collar. But way back in there, there is another connection that we got to get to, so we probably have to take the starter off. All right, so now you'll notice after we get the starter off here, which we got down here, they got these really long bolts that go up all the way from the bottom up underneath. But now we got it off, take off our last connection there. Kind of a pain in the butt to get to, but not too bad. All right, so I was wrong. The last one to get off of here, to get this harness off, is actually down here underneath this plate here next to the transmission. Gotta pop that plate off, and there's a big connection right back in there, so we gotta work our way on getting that one out. I'll try to get it out without the plate off, but we'll see. All right, so once you get this red pin slid back, which you can actually do with your fingers pretty easily, you're gonna reach in here. This actually pulls forward, which is kind of nice. Once you clip that down, pulls forward, and allows you to pry that out. So it kind of made that a little easier for you instead of having to use this your fingers or other tools, so it comes out pretty easily. All right, so it is getting colder up here in the mountains, and we're on a rush to try to get this thing done, but we got the harness off finally. Lots of different things with the harness, really tight connections, tight places to get your fingers, and I recommend definitely having good tools. Unfortunately, my tools are over at my other shop, so I don't have them close by, but here is the harness right here. It's a big jumbled pile and mess. But two things that you don't need to provide to your harness rework crew is the power connection here. I got confirmation from Mitch at SwapTime. This power connection does not need to go. And then same thing with this power connection as well that goes to your battery. I didn't think it needed to, but I just wanted to confirm, because if I'm going to send this over to him via UPS, I didn't want to have to send 2 boxes. So keep following along. I will be posting all of the costs, the time, the effort, the energy, so you can be aware of what's it going to take to convert a C10 to a 4x4 with an L83 swap and the whole thing frame off. So stay tuned.